Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marissa for those of you who are new here, and thank you so much for watching. And today's video is a project pan update. It has been a couple of months. The last one I did was in March, and I have exciting news because I have panned a product that I've been working on for a long time, as well as finished up a couple of products. Hit the like button if you enjoy this video, and also comment down below if you are panning as well, or if you've already panned a couple of products, or how does it you do project pans. I know I received a comment on the last one of like just how to start, and my advice on that is just honestly just start. Collect a couple of products. It doesn't need to be your entire collection. Just collect a few things and just be like, you know what, I'm going to be intentional about using that products. But yeah, any sort of advice or any sort of ideas on how to project, it's personal for everybody, and there's no wrong way to do it in my opinion. So again, hit the like button and subscribe for new videos every single week. I do a lot of makeup. I also do tons of vlogs. If you are new here, I am engaged and will be getting married in actually about a month now at the time of recording this. So there's a lot of wedding content. There is a lot of wedding content and some DIYs. So if you are interested in any of that, I would love for you to subscribe and join the little family over here. And also, if you would like more day-to-day stuff, so please follow me on Instagram. I will link that down below as well as right here. It is at From Hem to Stem for more up-to-date stuff. YouTube is a little bit more delayed, but yeah. So if you want more up-to-date stuff, then go ahead and follow me over there. I am rambling, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to go in the order of how I do my makeup. So I'm going to start with brows. And I have finally finished the never-ending Winky Lux Unibrow. It is gone. There's no more. I can't get any more product out of it. It is gone. Well, you'll see a better shot in the close-up. I can't use any more of it. It's finally gone, and I do not plan on repurchasing it, so I'm just glad that I have finally finished that up. And also, while I go through each kind of section, I will be letting you know if I'm going to be adding any more products into this particular section or removing them. So right now, in terms of brow products, I'm kind of testing out some of them right now, so I won't be adding any to the project, but maybe in the future I will add them. But for right now, I'm just glad I used this up. It took me 3 years to use this up, so I'm so glad that I can finally throw it out. Since especially now it doesn't match like my color. I don't agree that it's a uni because it was very light and very gray, and yeah, so I don't definitely recommend this product at all. Okay, on to concealers. I have two concealers, and the first one is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade Light 15. As you can see in the close-up, I have made a significant dent on it, not as much as when I first initially started. I've been kind of going back and forth between like the brightening concealer, the e.l.f. brightening concealer that I've been kind of testing out, as well as other concealers in my collection. So the dent is not as big, but it's still good progress. I feel like by the end of the summer, I think I would use this one up, so I'm going to continue to keep this in the project. The next one is the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer, which is in the matte finish. Is the very first camo product that they did. This is in the shade Light Sand. As you can see, again, some significant progress, but not a whole lot. I'm only using this one. As you can see, it's completely the wrong shade. It's way too light for me, so I've been using this as a eye primer underneath like any sort of eyeshadow, and also just to cancel out any of the veins and discoloration I have on my eyes. So that's why you'll see this going a little bit slower. I'm hoping by the end of the year that I'll have this completely used up, and that way I don't have to worry about it, and also I can get it out of my collection and then bring in more concealers that actually are the correct shade for me. But for right now, those are going to be the only two concealers in that particular category for the project. Okay, going on to bronzers. So I have only two bronzers in my collection, and that the cream bronzer is the Tarte Brazy Cream Bronzer in the shade Seychelles. That's a mouthful. And this is actually a mini I got a few years ago. As you can see, I finally have hit pan on it. This is exciting because I've been using this constantly, and I've actually got a pretty big pan on it. and I really enjoy this. I don't foresee myself, if I do repurchase this, buying the full size, because this little thing has lasted me a very, very, very long time. And honestly, I'm not sure if I just enjoy the pot cream products, or particularly cream bronzer. I'm not really sure about that. I have been, like, I do enjoy the shade. I enjoy the actual formula. I think it's a really good cream bronzer. Highly recommend, especially if you are near my skin tone. It's a little red, especially if you go overboard, but if you blend it out and honestly start really light and then build it up, I think you will be fine. But I'm so glad that, one, not only do I have a pan in this one, but I have a huge pan. And then onto the Makeup Revolution Mega Bronzer in the shade One Cool. As you can see, I still have not hit pan on it, but in the close-ups you can see I'm really, really close. I can see the grid marks of the actual metal packaging that the product goes in. This is my only bronzer. I really enjoy this bronzer. I love the cool tone of it because it's not too warm. I don't look like I'm have orange cheeks, and so that's why I like to use this as both a bronzer and as a way to sculpt out my face. I don't really do any harsh contouring, so yeah. So no pan yet on this, but I'm hoping maybe by end of summer I'll hit pan, especially since this is my only bronzer and I'm pretty heavy-handed, so hopefully we'll see. But the bronzer I'm actually going to be adding into this project is the Undone Beauty water bronzer, and it is a stick bronzer, and it's in the shade 210 Baked. As you can see, it's a twist up kind of stick bronzer. This is very yellow tone. I don't think this is the right shade for me, especially now that I'm getting tanner and, you know, with it warming up and me being outside more. So I don't think this is the perfect shade. I can make it work, especially if I layer it with the Mega Bronzer from Makeup Revolution. It definitely balances out the yellow a little bit. I wanted to stick this in the project to see how far I can get on it. It is a very gel-like formula, and it's very cooling when you first put it on, which was an interesting experience. So I wanted to see how far I can use it up. I probably got about a quarter of the way through right now, so we'll see. But that's why I wanted to stick it in there, because one, I know it's the wrong shade, so I would just like to use it up to not be wasteful and just throw it away. So I can just, and besides, I can make it work. And that's the thing with the way I handle project pans, is if I can legitimately find a way to make it work, I will, and then I just won't repurchase it once it's all used up. So that's going to be the addition to the bronzer category. Okay, moving on to blush. So I had quite a few blush products actually in here. I found that I'm becoming more of a blush person and actually getting a little more heavy-handed with blush. So, and I'm pretty sure, as you can see on my cheeks now. So going into the first one, which was the Colourpop Super Shock Cheek in the shade Between the Sheets. As you can see, the packaging has kind of got beaten up. I think I broke the plastic when I kind of tightened this, because with this particular product, you want to you want to close it really, really tight so it doesn't dry out, and it hasn't yet. And I thought I hit pan on this. I know I have a really, really deep dip, but because the formula is so creamy, it ends up just moving the outer edge into the middle, which is why you're not really seeing a pan. But I really enjoy this particular formula. I honestly didn't use it a whole lot, so you might not see a whole lot of change just because of the tone. I'm starting to lean more towards brighter, pinker, as well as bronzy blushes with going into the warmer months. This is definitely one I used a lot in the fall and the winter with that mauve color. So honestly, I think I'm going to take this out of the pan, and then I'll probably put it back in later this year just because of the tone, and it's just, I'm not reaching for it, and I just want to have my focus elsewhere. Okay, the next blush is the Phase Zero Blush Making Moves blusher, actually, or Phase Zero blusher in the shade Making Moves. This is the one I've said I think is a NARS Orgasm dupe, but I'm not 100% sure because I haven't actually used NARS Orgasm, just based off of the swatch and the coloring and the fact that there's like a gold shimmer in it. This is one I would like to reach for when I'm like in a rush and I want to kind of cut down my products I'm using, because you can just put this on and you won't even need a highlight for it. This is one that's very orange, and it is very pigmented, so you can go overboard real quick and look sunburned. If you like that sunburn look where you can have it kind of be really bright across on your cheeks and then across the nose, this is a great blush for it. I'm really surprised that most people don't talk about it. I think I said that in my last video, but I am still surprised. It is a great blush. I really enjoy it. However, I was kind of focused, and you'll see here in a second, I was focused on another blush. For the powder, because it's a powder, I am going to keep it in the project, and I'm going to be really more mindful about using this, especially because I know I'm going to have a lot going on, and I foresee in the next check-in making a bigger dent on this because of the fact that I'm gonna have a lot going on, and I'm gonna be very busy coming with the next month. So I definitely I'm going to reach for it for a more go-to, quick and easy makeup look to run out of the door. So I'm gonna keep it in the project. Okay, this next one is the e.l.f. Bite Size Duo in the shade Spiced Apple. This one I used a little bit, but not a ton, and you can see I made like a little bit of a dent, especially in the blush area. I didn't use this a whole lot. I'm going to keep this in the project because I know with summer coming up, and also with me traveling a little bit more this summer, I'm going to need something a little more compact. So I'm definitely going to keep in the project. I'm going to keep working on it. I think this is a great alternative. Like, for example, if I don't want to, you know, have a glowy cheek, and instead of going for the Phase Zero blush, I'll go for this one to have more of a matte look. And I think this color is very flattering on me, especially when I have a tan. So I'm going to keep it project, and I think I can work on that dip a little bit more. On to the Kosas Color and Light Duo in the shade Velvet Melon. I made decent progress on this, especially in the highlighter. I have found that, though, I'm honestly not liking this cream blush. I think it's starting to dry out, which is very odd because the highlighter portion isn't. And when I had more time and was doing a full glam, I definitely wore this every single time. This is the only cream highlighter I have, and I enjoy the highlighter. It's just this blush formula I don't like at all. Camera cut off. What I was saying is that I'm debating keeping this in the pan. I made a good dent on the highlight. I'm not sure, but I think it would be a great combo with the blush, the cream blush I plan on putting into this. So I think I'm going to keep it in just particularly for the highlight, but not the blush. So yep, that's what I'm going to do. And then the last update is this guy, the Colourpop Cheek Dew Serum Blush in the shade Hotline. As you can see in the close-up, I have made a significant dent on this. This is actually what I'm wearing on my cheeks today, and this has become my favorite cream blush, honestly, and it's one I always have been constantly reaching for. The thing is, yeah, you do end up having to use a lot of product, especially if you want very pigmented in cheeks. And also you want your blush to really stand out, especially if you're not going to do like a powder blush on top of this. You do end up having to use a lot of product. Like you can see, it's a significant dent. And you know, it's Colourpop, so it's affordable. So I'm not completely upset the fact that it's like I'm going through it so fast, but I really enjoy the formula. And I just want to keep going, and I've just been constantly reaching for it, and I just really love this tone. I'm gravitating more towards pink blushes, which is very odd for me because I was always about bronze, glow, orange, peach, just because it looks so good on my skin, and I wasn't sure that like a cooler tone pink would, and then obviously this has proven me wrong. So I'm gonna see if maybe I can get to halfway by the next one, but yeah, I'm gonna keep this in the project. So the two blushes I'm actually gonna be adding are, one is a cream and one's a powder. This one is the e.l.f. This is the e.l.f. Putty Blush in the shade Turks and Caicos. This is the peachy one that I'm that I was referring to earlier. I think this is a dupe for that Kosas one, honestly. I'll have to see. Let me see if I can swatch it and it'll show. I know I like this formula over the Kosas one for sure. I'm just not how that Kosas one looks on me. I like the highlight, but I don't like the blush on that. I've said that already. But I wanted to add, oh, maybe not, maybe it's a little bit different. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a different tone. I don't know if you can see. This is the Kosas one, this is the e.l.f. one. So it's a little bit different tone. So it's not exactly like a dupe, but I wanted to put that e.l.f. one in because one, I've barely touched it since I bought it. And two, with summer coming up, I think this would be a great blush for me to take on my honeymoon. I love the peachy, pinky color, and I think this will look really pretty, like I said, next to bronzy skin. And yeah, so I want to see, one, how much I use it, and if I can make maybe a little bit of a dent in that. For the powder blush, the packaging is kind of worn off. This is the Colourpop Pressed Powder Blush in the shade Jet Set. This is a very bronzy brown blush and has a little bit of a shimmer. Some people use this as like their bronzer. This is what the bronzer color I've been kind of previously been going towards before I discovered that pink actually looks cute on me. This is one that I would reach for a lot, especially when I first got it, but I haven't really reached for it a whole lot, so I wanted to add that in and see how much progress I can make on it. So yeah, that's going to be my bronzy blush that I'm going to add to the project. As you can see, like, the packaging is like completely gone. This I think was from like the Wild Child collection from Colourpop. I don't think this is, you know what, I think this is still available, last I checked. But yeah, I'll of course link everything that I'm talking about down below. Okay, on to highlights. I have kind of sad / exciting news, I guess. So first is this little mini Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed Highlight in the shade Champagne Pop. So this completely shattered and broke, so I can no longer use it. So yep, this highlighter's done. I think it just was so thin, I couldn't save it. And so yeah, used that one, well, mostly all up, which is kind of sad because Becca's gone out of business, although you can get this particular highlight off of Smashbox. So I may repurchase it, but I want to work on and use other highlighters that I have in my collection more, I think, before I repurchase this one. But it was a really pretty highlighter. It was great on my skin tone. I loved the champagne tone of it, and I loved the amount of glow it gave. So in the future, I think maybe will either try to find a dupe for it or repurchase it from Smashbox. Okay, on to the Tarte Skin Twinkle Lightening Palette. And this is the shade, it's like the lighter shade of it. As you can see, I've hit Major Pan on this middle matte highlight. This is what I used to set my under eye, which I know is kind of unusual to use matte highlight, but I feel like it works really well and it has helped with the creasing on my under eye. This particular highlight, there is a little bit of a dent, but no, not close to pan at all. And then this one, I accidentally dug my nail in. So I think I'm going to continue. I'm going to keep this in because honestly I'm using it for multiple things, and then as the summer goes on I will be adding this particular shade in because as a highlight, because it's going to be a little bit darker, as well as the fact that I can use it as an eyeshadow. So yeah, so this is the progress for that one, and yeah, I'm going to keep it in to keep going, especially that middle shade. I feel like I can use that up pretty quickly, especially since I've been using that every single day to set my under eye. Okay, going on to eyeshadow. So I had 3 different eyeshadows at this time. The first one is the That's Taupe palette. This has been an absolute staple, and I feel like everyone that gets this palette says that. It is a cool tone palette from Colourpop, and it has great shimmers. It has a super shock. I'm actually wearing this on my eyes today. I have a combination of these 2 shades. It's more of a matte look. The shades are Pebble Beach and Boa. As you can see on Pebble Beach, we're getting a little bit of a dip. Yeah, I've been constantly reaching for this. I wore this for my engagement shoot. If you haven't seen that, get ready with me. I will link that up in the eye and down below if you're interested on what makeup look I used for my engagement pictures. But I really enjoy this. I am going to take this out of the project because I want to try and force myself to use other palettes, and also I think with the summer coming I'm going to kind of steer away from cool tones and go more for warm tones, although I think these look beautiful year round, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna take this out of the project and then try to focus on other palettes, because honestly, and I'll add to that a little bit later, add more to what I'm about to say a little later, is that I just felt myself just constantly reaching for this over the other palettes that are in my project. So I'm trying to be a little more mindful and really rotate my eyeshadow palettes out. The next palette is the beat up e.l.f. New Classics palette. As you can see, I've made major progress on that one shade called Up Down, and there's a little bit of a dip in the shade Truffle. If you haven't seen my previous project pan, again, I'll link that up in the eye and down below. Then that check-in was keeping this in, or due to I put this in my project because I wanted to see, one, if I would really want to get this, pretty much replace this palette since it is so beat up and broken. And honestly, I'm going to tell you, probably not. I felt myself, one, reaching for that taupe more than anything, and honestly, I don't want to buy a whole eyeshadow palette like this, even though e.l.f. is very, very affordable, but I don't want to buy a whole eyeshadow palette like this for just 2 shades. And I've technically probably 3, because I did use this one a lot, but I've right now only using these 3 shades, and that's a lot of shades that are just kind of going to waste. So I won't be repurchasing this. I'll keep this in my collection, and I'm actually going to take it out of the project. I'm going to keep it in my collection and just use it until it's, you know, expired, and then just throw it away. But yeah, I don't foresee myself repurchasing this, just because I don't want to, that's a lot of shadows that are just going to waste. Okay, and then the last palette which is the palette I added in the first video, is the Magic Mini by Juvia's Place. And this one I reached for once, twice. I want to say twice, because I used this for that engagement get ready with me, and honestly, I don't see myself reaching for this at all. And I'm finding that, yeah, a lot of these shimmers are really, really cool. However, I have these in other palettes, and I know there's a lot of stuff going on with Juvia's Place that I don't particularly want to support. So I'm going to be decluttering this and taking this out of the project, and I'm just not reaching for it, and it's just wasted space in my collection. So those are my thoughts on that. And so, yep, this palette's going to be out of my collection. The eyeshadow palette I would like to add, which is actually going to be the only eyeshadow palette, is this BH Cosmetics Santa Fe eyeshadow palette, and this I've had for a very, very, very long time. This is in the same mindset as the Juvia's Place, is where it's kind of more of like a chopping block / project pan, just to see, one, if I reach for it, and 2, if I can use it up a lot. This is a very warmed tone palette, great for summer. This is a warm tone palette, and it's great for summer. And if you are new to my channel, I do a series called 1 Week 1 Palette, and I did one on this particular look. It's where I use only one eyeshadow palette for 1 week and create multiple looks from it. And this is a really pretty, really, you know, again, warm tone, easy shadows. BH Cosmetics makes some really great eyeshadows. And honestly, I'm kind of sad that they're going out of business. So I'm not sure if you can get your hands on this. If I can find a link for it, I will of course link it down below. But I wanted to add this in, one, to see if I still want to keep it, and 2, if I'm gravitating towards these warm tones in the coming summer months. Honestly, like I said, I just kind of turned into a cool tone girl between the cool tone pinks as well as the cool tone eyeshadow. So yep, so that's the eyeshadow palette I'm going to be adding. Now onto powders. So I originally had this in my project in the beginning, which I should tell you what it is. It's the Bare Minerals Original Powder Foundation in the shade Neutral Ivory. I originally had it, and then I took it out because I found that the shade was too dark for, you know, my winter skin tone. But now that summer's here and I'm starting to get a little more tan, so I'm going to be putting this back in. As you can see, I made some decent progress on it in the close-up, but I'm going to add it in to see if I can maybe possibly use it up. I've had it for a long time. Again, if you are new, I don't wear foundation, which is probably kind of surprising given how my skin looks right now. I'm lucky and blessed with the fact that I have really good skin and I just have freckles that, you know, sometimes I want to cover up, but most of the time I don't. And you know, I don't really like a lot of foundations. I've tried a couple and I just don't like the way they look on me, and they end up getting crepey and cakey. And I know there's a lot of like new formulas that I haven't even touched or tried that I know have improved on that and are a lot lighter and not as heavy, but I just don't like it. The only foundation, the type of foundation I like is the powder foundation, and that's why I purchased this, and that's why I've had this for so long. And it's, you know, it's the only thing that I feel like looks good on my skin to give me, one, a little bit more coverage, and two, not look cakey. And with setting sprays, it kind of tones down the powderiness and makes it look a little bit more natural. Yeah, so that's why I'm gonna add this back in. You know, with the summer tan coming, I'm pretty sure I will be able to use this up. Okay, now on to eyeliners. So I had 4 different eyeliners in the pan. I had the Physicians Formula Eye Booster 2-in-1 Lash Boosting Eyeliner and Serum. This is a liquid eyeliner in the shade, where are we? Ultra Black. It is also waterproof. I put this in the pan, one, to try and get good at doing liquid liner or like eyeliner, and I've tried it a couple of times. This is, I feel like, starting to dry out, like we're on the verge, so I'm gonna keep it in, and then probably by the next check-in it's gonna be done. But I'm trying to push myself and be a little bit bolder, like with my makeup choices, as well as try new things, like try to do a cat eye or a fox eye kind of liner. I did attempt it the other day and it did not go well, so I'm just gonna keep trying and we'll go from there. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this in there. This next one is the Colourpop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Sub-Zero. This is really bright yellow, gold color. There's some shimmer on it, and it's really pretty, and I did use it a couple of times, but I didn't even make a dent. Like, it's still at the very, very top. So I'm gonna keep this in because summer, brights, you know, I feel like I'm gonna reach. So I had to change my memory card. So I was talking about the Colourpop BFF Cream Gel Liner in the shade Sub-Zero. This is a bright shimmering gold color, and I like this on the waterline. I feel like it makes my eyes pop. And so I'm gonna keep this in the pan. I used this like twice in the past couple of months, so I feel like now with summer being here, I'm gonna probably, honestly, I'm gonna use this more, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep that in the pan. Same thing with the Colourpop Cream Gel Liner, same formula in the shade DTLA. I was using this for my engagement shoots, so, ooh, and now my battery's dying. Cool. Cool. Wow, just having technical difficulties. I was talking about this particular eyeliner. I really love how blue contrasts with brown eyes. It made my eyes pop in the pictures, and I really, really enjoyed it. However, I'm going to take this out because it's a little darker tone, and I want to be bright, light and bright with my makeup looks coming this summer. So I will probably bring this again in the fall and winter when you go more on those jewel tones. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this out of the pan, but definitely love this color. And the last one is the LA Girl Shockwave Neon Eyeliner in the shade Electric. I really enjoyed this. It's beautiful color. I really like this formula, and as well as like the neon pop of blue. I again foresee myself reaching for this more. I think I put this in the project pan a little early. I think I maybe used this twice, kind of like the yellow, so I'm gonna keep it in and see what happens. But if I don't touch it by the next one, I'll just take it out and we'll go from there. I do really like the LA Girl liner formulas. And last but not least, wow, I've been talking a lot. The last one is lips, and we're gonna start with a lip liner, which is the Colourpop Lippy Pencil in the shade Another Round. I actually used this a little bit, and this is getting smaller and smaller, but not quite there yet. I've been putting this in my backpack that I take to work, and it's like the go-to liner just to put on and go when I'm like putting on my lipstick in the or my lip product in the car. And that's where I've really found that I've been using this a whole lot. So, and this is just a great go-to your lip but better kind of color. So I'm gonna keep it in the pan and hopefully get a bigger dent by the next check-in. Okay, so this one, this NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Apple Strudel. This is now expired and I need to throw it away. So unfortunately I didn't finish up before it got expired, but I really do like the NYX Butter Gloss formulas. I have another one in the shade Tiramisu, which is one of my go-tos. I don't foresee myself buying the Apple Strudel shade. I think it's just not the right shade for me, and it's not like it's not with my makeup style currently, so unfortunately I didn't pan it before it expired. But yeah, this is gonna be thrown out. And then the next gloss is the Disney Designer Collection from Colourpop in the Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade Guppy. I barely touched this. I put a little bit of this on before I started the video. It's still there. I feel like it kind of rubbed off a little bit, but that's what I have on top of Kate from Colourpop, the Luxe Blur lipstick that I love. Honestly, I'm just gonna take this out of the pan. I'm not reaching for it, and I don't want to have like another check-in and just be like, oh yeah, I'm not reaching for it. Like that doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna take it out of the pan and then just kind of focus on other glosses that I think that I'm gonna throw across the room that I am just using more. And I know the whole point of it is to like get you to use products that you aren't really reaching for. And also a part of me, it's like the Disney Designer Collection is the Ariel, so maybe that's a part of me is just wanting to hold on to it. That's the same thing, which is the lipstick. It's a beautiful peachy nude that I think I'll reach for more than I think the lip gloss. I'm not sure why. I think it's maybe because this looks really, really pale and nude. I don't know. I have to figure that out, but I'm going to take the glossy lip out for right now and work on other lip products. And then this Ariel one, as you can see, I've made a decent amount of progress. This is another like great purse kind of lipstick. It's peachy, it's nude, and like I said, it's the same collection from Colourpop, but it's the lipstick. The packaging is practically rubbed off. I'm going to keep it in because actually I don't have a lipstick at all. But yeah, I'm going to keep it in, and especially with summer and with some of the looks I'm envisioning that I want to do, I think this lipstick will go really well with them. Okay, and the last gloss I was working on was the Colourpop So Juicy. I have a lot of Colourpop. Colourpop So Juicy Plumping Gloss in the shade Dress Code. This is it's a mauve, darker mauve kind of color, a little bit more berry. I was using this a lot in the fall and winter. Made decent progress, but I feel like it's a little dark, so kind of the same thing with like the navy liner. I think I will use this more coming in the fall and winter, and I just want to have more light and bright kind of makeup right now. So I made good progress, but I am going to take this out of the pan. I'll probably bring it back in the fall and winter, and I'll probably use it up a lot if not use it up. Okay, and two products that I'm going to add in for glosses. One is the e.l.f. lip plumping gloss in the shade Peach Bellini. It's a great nude, just over, throw it on over the top, and it does plump your lips. To me, the sting is not too bad, and it also isn't for very long, so that's nice. Because I hear so many horror stories about like the Too Faced one. I was like, I'm not touching that thing at all. But I do like this one. I do think it makes my lips plump up a little bit more. And I haven't really used this a lot. I used to use it, like I made decent progress as you can see, but I haven't really touched it since, and I think this will be a great summer gloss, so I'm going to put that in the pan. And then the last product I'm adding is the Colourpop Luxe Lip Oil in the shade Gen Zen. I got this in one of their mystery boxes. It's a very pink toned lip oil with some gold shimmer in it. This reminds me of a gloss I used to have as like a kid, because back in the early 2000s that was a big thing. I do enjoy this oil formula, Luxe oil formula. I think it's very nourishing. It makes your lips look very healthy and plump. So I wanted to throw this in there because I think this will be a great like purse kind of lip product, and I think it'll go well with a lot of my brighter looks that I'm going to be wanting to do this summer. Okay, we made it to the end. I feel like that's going to be a very long video, and I may have to cut out some things because that's a very long video. And those are all my project pan updates. Let me know down below your thoughts. as well as what you are planning this year, and it's how your project is going. I would love to know. And if you are curious about starting a project, like, let me know down in the comments. I'm really curious about like what people's strategy is with this kind of project, what they put in, what they don't put in. Do they put in a full face like I'm doing, or they just do like 2 or 3 projects? I'm really curious, so let me know down below in the comments. Hit the like button if you did enjoy this video, and subscribe for new videos every single week if you want to enjoy, and also join the fam, a little fam over here. And also follow me over on Instagram for more up-to-date stuff on day-to-day things going on with me. I will leave that down below and also right here. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.